Hi, I'm Kesenya and welcome to Guiding Star Astrology. I'm your Astro Weather Girl, here with this week's Astro Weather Report. I'm going to show you how the stars are going to affect your life this week. In my videos, I use both Vedic and traditional Western techniques with tropical astrology, not sidereal astrology. I also use the traditional system of whole sign astrology for my analysis. You can use this video to the best of your advantage by listening to the introduction to understand what the week holds for you, and then going to the timestamps for your sun, moon, and rising sign to get a more personalized forecast for the week ahead. Astrology is not designed to scare you. It's designed to give you information so that you know what the good and the challenging energies in the week ahead will be, and you can therefore consciously work with them to the best of your advantage. Remember, knowledge is power. Now, there are scammers about, and so if you should receive a message from me on any platform requesting your money for a reading, know that it is a scam. Report them immediately. And now settle in and let's see what the astral skies have in store for the week ahead. Hello, my YouTube family. I want to empower you through the tool of astrology this week of massive relational and financial karma. And we're looking at the energies playing out between the 4th of February through to the 10th of February and what's happening in the skies. You know, keep in mind as I do this, this is a reading for personal passing energies. And what I am speaking about today is the energy that's going to be affecting you, how you will feel, and what you might encounter in the week ahead because of the energies in the skies. So without further ado, let's dive right in, as we always do, and look at what the energies are in the coming week. First thing we've got is on the 4th of February, we've got Mercury moving into Aquarius down here. And this is an area where we might be feeling like playing the devil's advocate. You know, this energy is associated with stirring the pot a little bit in the mental realm. When Mercury travels through Aquarius, we might find that our thinking can be challenged in various positive ways to become more all-encompassing, less biased, more balanced. And so people will be challenging you to think about, you know, your beliefs and your ideologies and try and reach a more balanced equilibrium with it. So somebody might be playing devil's advocate with you that causes you to rethink your stance on certain things, and you might be playing devil's advocate in the lives of other people serving that purpose. When Mercury moves through Aquarius, we start to think in ways that are very quick, more intellectual, and brighter, sparkier than otherwise when Mercury is not in an air sign. We may even find quirky and unexpected solutions to problems. So it can be very helpful for that sort of thing. We might even, find problems that surprise even ourselves. The solution can be right in front of us, and with Mercury in Aquarius, boom, suddenly we realize it. Suddenly we see it for what it is. So an exciting time, a good energy, positive energy. Looking forward to this. Now, because Pluto is at 0 degrees of Aquarius, Mercury is going to be making a conjunction with Pluto on the same day. Now, the thing is, when we have a conjunction of two planets, it's the beginning of a cycle. It's kind of like new moon energy every month we get with the sun and the moon conjuncting. But here, in this case, it's an annual event of Mercury conjuncting with Pluto, wherever Pluto happens to be at the time. And so we start a whole new cycle that's going to last the year ahead with regard to Mercury-Pluto themes. Now, this is going to mean that it's a new beginning, a new time for our mental pathways. And of course, Pluto is the planet of transformation. And so we might be, watching our old mental pathways transform or dissolve or deconstruct, because that's what Pluto does. He, dissolves things, he composts things. So we can be very much focused now, even unconsciously doing so, deconstructing the thought patterns that are keeping us from our true inner power. So I find this very exciting. What mental boundaries have you put in your way that are stopping you from achieving, from, you know, succeeding in life the way you want to? It's called self-sabotage. So any sort of thought processes, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy enough, all that sort of thing, the way we think, that mental tape that runs in our head that's actually not truth, but you know, I don't know where these thoughts come from. So this is a transit that's not for the intellectually shallow. It's really powerful on the 4th or 5th, depending where you are in the world, of February, for really doing some deep psychological introspection and changing your conscious patterns, and even maybe changing your subconscious patterns as well. So deep psychological uncovering is definitely favored with this transit. There could be also, in the more tangible sense, changes to friendships. Maybe you might have a lot of impatience with superficial communication as well. Somebody wants to talk about the weather and you're like, I'm so over this. Let's get to the meat of what's going on in the world. Let's talk about it. Why are things the way they are? And, you know, and you just like have no time for the superficial. It can also be a combination for verbal power struggles. So, you know, you're battling verbally with somebody to come out on top. There can be fears and paranoias that also come up for you to analyze. And so it's helpful to detach and observe with a detached viewpoint to realize, oh, okay, these are my fears, these are my paranoias. So have a journal handy, you know, do some diary entries, start reading a psychological analysis book now to help inform this process and its new beginning. It is an annual combination, so it's not unfamiliar to us, but it can be utilized for great personal power if you work with this energy. So get your headspace ready, do therapy, read psychological books, write out your thoughts and feelings, dissect your emotions with friends if that's what helps. Take some mental time out to ponder and meditate and reflect. Now then on the 7th of February, we have the most important energy for the week, I feel, which is Venus down here in Capricorn making a square aspect to the nodes in Aries and the South Node down here in Libra. And of course that's making a T-square energy. So again, this is an annual energy, but it's a very important day. It's a very strong karmic energy. So this is an annual karmic imprint that often sees us revisiting old relationships. You know, we're pondering about that guy in high school we dated, or that girl who got away, you know. Or we might actually have an actual visit from an old friend getting in touch with us on Facebook or Instagram and saying, hey, I was thinking about you this week. And you're like, strange. No, do I want to go there or not again? So this revisiting old relationships. Some people might be under this energy, they might be letting go of relationship or financial hang-ups. Again, we're talking about self-sabotaging energy here. Relationship hang-ups or money hang-ups that keep us from moving forward in life. And the reason that is because the South Node is the past and the North Node is the future. And that's a simple explanation of the two of them, and Venus is right in the middle. So Venus is saying, okay, what from the past am I hanging on to relationally, financially, the things that Venus rules, and how is that keeping me from moving into my destiny? So it's a time of releasing those things. Now, the releasing of those hang-ups, or the releasing of old relationships that are no longer serving you, that sort of thing, and financial situations that are a burden, they are likely to come with a challenge, or even a feeling of blockage that you need to burst through or push through or work through in some way. The reason is that this is a square aspect. Now, if Venus was making a trine to one or the other, the North Node or the South Node, then those changes and releasing of that karma and so on would come with ease and with pleasure and with grace. But this is a square 90-degree aspect, so it's hard. It comes with the need to dig deep. It comes with the need to work through old behavior patterns and maybe even a realization of old behavior patterns that leaves you feeling somewhat shocked or somehow heavily burdened, like that was my fault. I didn't think it was my fault at the time, but I see now in retrospect that it was my fault, that I'm now in this financial situation, or that I was in a difficult relationship. It was my fault. We take responsibility for it, especially when Venus is in Capricorn. But that is a feeling of challenge. It's a feeling of not dis-ease in realizing these truths. So sometimes we can know that we need to change, but we feel blocked in changing. We don't have the energy, or we think it's going to be too hard, or we don't take the steps necessary. There's a feeling that we're blocked in achieving the changes financially and relationally that we want to achieve. So I just encourage you, on the 7th of February, do the work, my friends. And this is 7th of February Australian time. Use the energy to get out of old cyclical habits concerning these things and shake up your life for the better. Don't be afraid to take that step forward, to let those past limitations go so that the future can be grasped. All right, on the 8th of February, so straight after this energy forms, we have Venus making a trine aspect, a blessed aspect to Uranus up here in Taurus, earth sign to earth sign. 19 degrees is the degree that's being activated. Wowzers, there's just no room for boredom on this day. We want all the shiny, all the good things that life has to offer, and we don't want to wait. So if you've done the work on the square to the nodes day, the 7th, then by the 8th, when Venus trines Uranus, you might get the sudden, surprising outcome that you've dreamed of. You know, everything you've wanted can start to manifest. And it's all good. You know, this isn't the frustrated kind of energy we see with a hard aspect like a square. This is the spontaneous, passionate energy that has us grabbing our partners and having a good long 10-second kiss with them. You know, that's what this energy is. Or seeing money go into our bank account that we forgot we were going to get. And it's like, yeah, it's this beautiful, blessed energy pertaining to Venus things. And it comes in a surprising, helpful, supportive way. You might also feel very sociable and playful under this energy. You might be very willing to experiment as well by talking to interesting people or trying an unusual food dish in some random restaurant you've never been to before. You do surprising things that lead to good outcomes. You know, randomly walk past a restaurant, you've seen it a million times, and this day you think, I'm going to go in and try that food. And wow, it's fantastic. It's that kind of out of the ordinary, off the beaten path kind of energy that this is all about. So what you can do to work with this energy is get creative. You know, you might discover that you have quite a bohemian creative side to yourself that's been itching to be given a chance to step up. So I encourage you, my friends, give that creative influence room, give it space, set it free. You will really flourish under this energy on the 8th of February. And also on the 8th of February, we're having a square from the Sun to Uranus. So again, Uranus is involved here in Taurus and the Sun is in Aquarius, and at 19 degrees they're making a square aspect. Now this is a harder aspect than the one I just spoke about. It is time under this influence for marching to the beat of your own drum, people. Don't let people tell you what to do on the 8th of February, what to think, how to behave, and most of all, how to express yourself. This energy wants freedom and independence. The trouble is, all this autonomy can rub other people the wrong way. So somehow, you know, life in the material realm seems to require a balance of belonging to the group, the community, the collective, and balancing that with our individuality, our uniqueness. And I, for one, as a Pisces rising person, find this so hard. I just want to run away from all the inequality and the injustice and the wokeness and all the BS out there. Get me out of here. It's crazy. But no, when we're on this planet, we have to somehow figure out how to balance belonging and individuality, escapism and being present. You know, we find the middle ground there, and sometimes it's really hard. And so this energy is tying into that need to find balance between individuality and belonging. So the Sun natally rules Leo up here, and Uranus natally rules the opposite sign, Aquarius. So they're very polaric kinds of energies, Uranus and the Sun. They both are planets that have to do with the similarity of autonomy, individuality. They're both about uniqueness, and yet they're very much at odds in the astrological world because they rule opposite signs. Uranus wants to be an individual in the context of humanity and to bless humanity because of that. Leo, sun energy, wants to be, fantastic and looked up to and adored. You're the king in your world, So it's not about necessarily helping the people. It's about, look at how brilliant I am. Whereas Uranus wants creativity and uniqueness that serves humanity in a healthy way. And both energies are legit. Both energies are valuable. There's not one right and one wrong. They are just, polarity, two sides of a similar extreme. So, like I said, very much at odds in the astrological world. So the energy of this might express in the people we encounter with sudden outbursts, if people are, firing up or getting frustrated, because it's a hard energy, remember that, it's probably coming from their own inner feelings of stagnation and frustration at not being able to express their uniqueness, or frustration at the extreme bullshit that's going on in the world, and it's irritating and it's frustrating and it comes out like a volcano. Okay? So a hard aspect like this square, tinged in this case with a restless, uncertain energy, can only be mitigated with self-awareness, non-judgment of other people and yourself, flexibility, and acceptance of the differing journeys that every human being is on, every individual is on. So we have to, be gracious is really the way to deal with this energy. Gracious to ourselves, gracious to the people in our lives, and patient and tolerant with everyone. So that's my little Libra moon coming out there with that advice, but it's very, very relevant. Okay, so moving on from this, now I want to talk about the new moon in Aquarius that's forming down here at 20 degrees. This is going to bring some change into life, and it's on the 10th of February that this is occurring Australian time. So change is a very welcome energy that's going to give you the opportunity to grow through this new moon. And of course, as always, I talk about the new moon for everybody and all signs in my Patreon video that I do every month on the new moon. I also do a Patreon video for the full moon. So do check that out and join the Patreon family. It's only $5 a month if you want to join and pay monthly, or you can just join for 1 month and see how you go. But it brings us, what I'm bringing you is the analysis for all signs of how the moon's phases interact with us and affect us. And this one is such an interesting new moon. Don't be surprised to see sudden changes in cultural norms under this energy. The masses have an impact upon the rulership under this moon. And this is all about fresh starts for the masses, for humanity. And we're seeing a lot of momentum pushing towards that right now. And hopefully there's enough pressure being put on the elites that change comes about. But, don't hold your breath. Let's keep trying. But I think it's going to take some pretty serious action to bring about the change that we all need for more equality and fairness in the world, which is what Aquarius ultimately wants to see. But personally, there are new starts awaiting you too. Now, when this new moon forms, frequently these new beginnings come in a sudden manner. So they come quickly, they come surprisingly and unexpectedly, and they will endure for the long term because, of course, Aquarius is ruled by Saturn, which is an energy of the long term. But it's also co-ruled by Uranus in the modern sense, which is about surprises. So are you ready? Where does Aquarius fall in your chart? And you can look there to understand what will be affected, or as I said, join my Patreon family and get the all signs forecast for all the juicy details. I will point out it is a super moon. It's a great time to begin something quirky, and there's some brand new starts for your finances as well if you keep to a conservative path. Definitely some surprises on the cards, and it is also conjunct the fixed star Sad al-Sud, get this right, it's all ancient Arabic, Sad al-Sud. Sad al-Sud is the fixed star at 22 degrees of Aquarius that will be conjuncting this new moon, which is very, very important. And of course also on the 22nd, that's 22 degrees I was thinking of then, on the 10th of February, we begin the Chinese New Year, the year of the wood dragon. Now, Chinese astrology is not something I'm familiar with in great depth. I would love to learn more of it, and maybe someday when life slows down a bit, I'll get the chance to do so, because I love the concept of Chinese astrology. It's based on lunar cycles, so there's a lot more to it than you might find in the sun-driven Western system. But for now, let me read to you a little about the year of the wood dragon and what that means. Now, what a wood dragon is. I am reading from the Handbook of Chinese Horoscopes for those who like to know where this is coming from. But I thought, because it's the year of the dragon, and this is very special, I'd take the time to read this. The wood dragon is a creative and magnanimous type of dragon capable of developing bright new revolutionary concepts. And don't we really need that in the world? Wood combined with this dragon sign makes him adept at formulating and implementing ideas and working cooperatively with others, even if he might be a bit condescending on occasion. Gifted with an exploratory nature, the wood dragon loves to look into cause and effect theories. His every action will be guided by sound logic. However, he also has a tendency to over-investigate subjects or to submit people to endless debate when he is faced with opposition. He is a natural teacher and could be very scholarly in his own offbeat manner. Nonetheless, this is a generous dragon who is amenable to taking the middle road, tries to offend as few people as possible. That's going to be great this year, we need that, and subtly conceals his domineering ways. The wood element produces a less fierce and unreasonable variety of dragon who will compromise when it is to his advantage. Still, as a dragon, he will ultimately relate everything to his own oversized ego and will condescend to change only when sure of the benefits to himself. Not as vindictive or self-centered as dragons of other elements, he will still be outspoken, proud, and fearless when challenged. Sounds like a lot of the elites that we have to deal with in humanity at the moment, doesn't it? But anyhow, that is the energy of the wood dragon, and may pertain to the people who are born in this Chinese New Year of 2024. And it also might have bearing upon, those themes might have bearing upon what's happening out there in the world. There might be some compromise, but certainly, as that indicates, there might be compromise as long as it's going to benefit the people in charge in some way. So have a listen back to what I just read. Keep in mind, see it from a perspective of how might this be playing out in the world, in the powers that be, or with the people in charge, in mundane astrology, and you might get a bit of an idea of some of the themes and the focus for this year, the year of the wood dragon. All right, my friends, let us now move to talking about the all signs breakdown for everybody. And we're looking this week at the 7th of February, Venus making a square to the nodes where the karmic influence is strong, and there might be a sense of blockage of the usual things Venus seeks to express. But if we can push through those blockages, if we can do the work, then we can transform our lives and maybe even notice a sudden, sunny, surprising change on the following day, the 8th of February, when Venus makes a trine to Uranus. So we're going to start with Libra, just to be a little bit different, my friends. Libra is going to be our kickoff sign for this week's astro weather, and that means that Venus influencing the nodes, which are in Libra, the south node anyway, that is forming in the 4th house. So we've got Venus in the 4th house. So this can indicate that for Libran people, they might be feeling limited or blocked in some way as a result of past conditional thinking regarding their home, their property, their roots, land, where they live, the type of home they live in, the town that they live in. They might be feeling stuck. You might be feeling on 7th of February like, I'm sick of living in this place. I have no friends in this town, or this isn't the kind of lifestyle that I wanted to have in terms of domestic life and where I'm living. For some people, you might feel that there is limits or blockage with parents. If you're at the age of retiring, You might feel like, I can't retire yet. I've got to keep slogging it out a bit longer, and one step after another. And I'm sick of this, constant, routine that I have to keep on fulfilling when all I want to do is retire, because there can feel like there's a blockage to moving forward into retirement years under this energy, if you're of that age group. There might be sort of some limits or stifling of feelings in some way. Some situation might happen and you're sort of squashing your feelings down. Don't show them how much you really care, kind of thing. Not a healthy thing to do. And if that's how you're feeling, work through, how can I honestly share my feelings with the world in a way that empowers me and doesn't limit me. Domestic life might be feeling blocked or limited. And also how well you feel you belong with others, in your family, in your community, how well you connect. So there can be limitations and feelings of restriction around these themes. Now, this is the strongest house for Venus to be in Vedic astrology, in the 4th house. So you can, it's not going to be too bad for you Libran people. So you can enjoy feelings during Venus's transit of Capricorn, feelings of beauty and peace in your innermost being. But those blockages to moving forward in life with those things I've just talked about can still be there. Blockage of connection with someone who feels familiar to you in some way, family members, parents, children. Blockage of love in your family. Venus is love, and here in the sign that pertains to family. You might be feeling there's just a lack of love where there should be more. There can be a blockage of, feeling supported by family members. You might be feeling more like you're on your own right now and you have to do it all yourself, and I'm sick of doing it all myself. So family and the people in our domestic world, our everyday life, in the home, they're not going to be able to increase your sense of personal value. You've got to do it yourself, and that's part of the work. Seeing the value in you, not seeing you as an extension of your kids or you as a servant of your parents or in any way. There could be also some frustration with gardening. It could be as simple as that. You might walk out in the backyard and see a plant that you love and have been taken care of has died, and you might be just feeling like frustration, irritation. Venus square to the nodes. You might be spending Venus is what we spend money on, and you might be spending money on your garden, your decor, your home life. You might be spending money on your car, your boat, your bike under this influence, and it might feel heavy, like, oh, my tires are flat again, I've got to take my bike down to the bike shop. Damn it, this always happens. That's the kind of stuff that we can experience with this energy of frustration and blockage that can lead to needing to spend money when Venus is square the nodes. Of course, this is also the realm of the heart chakra, and you might feel, if you're into chakras and those energy centers of the body, you might feel like there's something keeping your heart chakra from opening, being open to love, being open to receiving. Where is your heart these days, Librans? This is the house of anything heart-centered, where our heart is. They say home is where the heart is. Well, the 4th house happens to be the house of home. It's where the heart is. So where's your heart at? What do you love? What is your heart centered upon? And where is there a feeling of blockage around those things? So how we can work with this energy, how we can heal this energy, is by embracing our creative voice. Embracing our creative voice, particularly in 4th house spheres. Get creative with how you're interacting with your family. Get creative in your decor. Get creative with your garden. The more creativity you bring into the home environment, the family environment, gardens, properties, real estate, the more that this energy, the easier it is to push through the blockages of this energy. So I encourage you to embrace your creative voice in those realms. Just have a party with your kids if you're feeling there's a blockage with family. Make some popcorn, put it in some groovy little cups, set up the projector in the backyard and watch an outdoor movie. Have an outdoor movie night and, let's get creative. Let's have fun with family as a source of healing for this energy. Thank you, Librans. Moving right along, we're going to Scorpio now. Scorpio rising, Scorpio sun, and Scorpio moon, people. Let me put my little stopper there to stop you wandering. All right, so Scorpio people, the energy of Venus making a square blockage kind of energy to the nodes of the past and the future, as I talked about in the introduction, is happening in your third house. So that's where you're going to feel this energy. Now, this is a quick and restless energy, the third house. And so when this feels blocked by this 90 degree angle that's forming between the nodes, it might feel like you've got the go slows. Things aren't moving as fast as they usually would. The day drags, you're sitting at work and you're bored, your thinking is slow, you're trying to speak the words, maybe you've got to give a presentation or something, and you're trying to make your speech, but you're stumbling over your words, your mind isn't on it the way it usually is. Now, our thinking often affects how we feel about things too, you know, like you stuff up your speech or your presentation that you've got to give to your boss, and then your thinking is, you know, I'm not worthy, Venus, self-worth, I'm not worthy, I stuff everything up, why can I never get things right? And your thinking just goes down that rabbit hole. So forewarned, forearmed, be aware that that might happen. There's also a lot to think about in terms of Venus things right now. You might be thinking, how can I save money? Why, you know, why am I not meeting, you know, romantic people, you know, people in my life, Venus things. You might be thinking a lot about creativity, you know, and there can even be, because this is a mental energy and it's an energy of blockage, you might be feeling like you've got writer's block or communication block, and your usual creative juices just aren't flowing. But remember, it's only for one day, 7th of February, and then this will pass. If you have to do localized travel, there can be impediments to localized travel on this day. For example, you know, you want to get to work on time and, you know, you head out the door and then, oh, they're doing roadworks in your street. You've got to take a detour. How annoying. Blockages of localized travel. There can also be frustration with the people that we have not chosen to have in our lives. This is what third house people are. You know, like we don't choose who our siblings are. We don't choose who our neighbors are most of the time. And so there's some sort of frustration with these people groups, you know, relatives, siblings, neighbors. And it really behoves us to be more socially adaptable under this energy on the 7th of February. You know, try and be patient, try and be tolerant, try and, you know, recognize that everybody's on their own journey with whatever they're dealing with, and let's act in love. There can also be some disappointment with any messages that we receive, any news that we receive. You know, we're expecting a card in the mail, it arrives and it's like, hang on, that's not what I was looking for at all. This happened to me with my engagement party invites. You know, I ordered a certain standard of invite through an online program, and when they came, they were like cheap and nasty, and I was so disappointed. You know, I was waiting for this postal delivery to arrive, and then I had to go and do it all over again with something else. So, you know, our communications, our messages, news we receive, parcels we receive, you know, things like that can be just like, disappointing. And of course, this is the realm that has to do with our ability to speak and the throat chakra. So there can be blockage of the throat chakra. We want to say, you know, our words, we want to share our thoughts, we want to express ourselves, but it's not coming like we need it to. That's a blockage to the throat chakra under this energy. And you know, of course, how can we, I should focus on Venus as spending money. So what you spend your money on is seen through this energy as well. And you might find that you, in a frustrating way, not in a way that's pleasurable, this is a hard aspect, you have to spend money on short trips, on books, on magazines, on subscriptions, on advertising, on courses, on webinars, you know, and it's like, this is a bit annoying that I have to do this, you know. So please don't sign up for my Royal Stars Academy course under this energy, because you probably find that it's very irritating for you. And I want you to enjoy my course, my friends, if you do it. And I hope you do someday. But that's really what we're seeing here. How can you heal this energy? How can you work to the best of your advantage? It's by embracing your creative voice in fourth house spheres. Now, perhaps it's not the best energy for getting up and giving a speech, but you could get creative in the evening, you know, after work and after all the, you know, the day is done. Write something, you know, write a song, write a letter, write a poem, write in your journal. Do some sort of creative writing, or do something creative with your hands as well in third house. You know, create a hairstyle. Get your daughter and sit down and watch a movie. Maybe you could fiddle with her hair and do some sort of braided hairstyle or something like that while you watch a movie together. You know, other things that might involve the hands could be woodworking, textiles, you know, creating some sort of sculpture, doing some sort of work with your hands that is creative. Venus is a lovely way to work with this energy, and it could actually help you move forward and overcome some of the blockages I've spoken about. Thank you, Scorpio. All right, Sagittarius rising. Sagittarius, sun or moon people. If we are a Sagittarius person, are experiencing the potential for frustration and blockage occurring in the second house on the 7th of February, because Venus will be making a square to the south node of the past and a square to the north node of the future. So as I described in the intro, difficulty letting go of old things so that we can move forward into something new. The good news is that if we can manage to push through the blockages and frustrations and limitations, we then move in on the 8th of February into a trine with Uranus that can bring us sudden blessings and sudden benefits. But really, I feel that will only form for us if we've done the work the day before to deal with our limitations and frustrations. And what are they? Well, Venus is the natural ruler of the second house, and so Venus has a lot of associations with second house things, rich, decadent food. Venus is a sweet tooth, and so, you know, you might, this is not an energy of indulgence, Sagittarius. This is like, you know, I need to go and trial some wedding cakes. You know, who's going to make me my wedding cake? I need to go trial them. And you're on your way to the taste tests and whatever. And you find that, you know, there's traffic. There's literal traffic blockages, you know. So your sweet tooth is not indulged. You can't get there on time. Alcohol, you know, particularly sweet-based alcohol, cocktails, sweet ciders, things like that, things that satiate the senses. There can be a blockage or frustration or restriction associated with those things. You know, you go to buy some cider for a barbecue you want to go to that evening, and it's all sold out. There's no cider left, and all you've got is light beer, you know? So frustrations with food, drink, particularly sweet things as well. There can be irritations, Sagittarius, to do with clothing. You know, you thought that your good dress shirt was nice and clean. You went to put it on to go to that special event, and oh my God, there's a big stain of coffee down the front. And you're like, what the frustration? This is what we're seeing here. But it's designed to teach you something. It's designed to teach you to flow, to let go, and see those sorts of frustrations with makeup, jewelry, clothes, art, furniture, music, Venus-ruled things. See them as some sort of a lesson in patience, and see it as an opportunity to move into something new. Okay, that dress shirt, I can't wear it. Maybe I'll wear this outfit instead, and it turns out to be a much better option for some reason or another. So there's a frustration there, but see these things not as irritations. Try and move beyond the past attitudes you might have once had about those sorts of niggly things that occur in life, and move into more purpose, more meaning. Let's be bigger. Let's be beyond those little irritations. So there can be also frustration with money. This is the house of money, spending it and making it. So we might have a bit more difficulty on the 7th of Feb attracting the good material things in life, you know, having enough money in the bank or attracting beautiful things and wealth. So just see this, you know, if you're feeling frustrated by that, if you're feeling irritated, keep in mind that it's only for this one day, and then Venus is going to make a sudden surprising aspect to Uranus that could see you have a wonderful windfall or some sort of blessing land in your lap. So push through and try to grow from the experience of, you know, oh, I'm limited, I'm irritated with regard to money, and know that there's lessons to be learned here that could lead to blessing the day after. There's also a good ability to evaluate what's worthwhile and what's valuable under this energy. You can, determine, I've been spending all this money on expensive cuts of meat or whatever. I really can't do that anymore. I have to restructure my finances. I have to rebudget because, I'm not getting value for money. And so there's this real sense of reevaluation that comes with a square to the nodes and takes you forward into a different future. There's also a need, and you can use this as a remedy if you would like for this energy, need to focus on taking care of the self, increasing your self-worth in order to attract more good things into your life now. This is what you might be being called to do. Maybe in the past you didn't value yourself. You went for a job interview and they said, what do you expect to be paid? And you said 20 grand underneath what is the going rate. That's not valuing yourself. When Venus is making this aspect, it's saying, let's let go of that past, get over the desire to undervalue your work and your contribution and yourself, and let's move into a destiny where you are valued, and I have to say, Sagittarius, increasing your self-worth under this energy will attract more money to you, will take you forward more into your destiny. Direct this into self-love, and make those changes from old past self-sabotaging behaviors into something of blessing for you. Direct this energy of, reconstruction of the self, if you like, into your sense of how beautiful you are and your external appearance. Instead of looking in the mirror that morning and saying, oh, it's so frumpy again, and look at those bags under my eyes and whatever, put effort into how attractive you are on the 7th of February. Put effort into, doing your hair nicely, putting on your makeup and taking your time with it so that it looks gorgeous. And you'll find that under this energy, it will boost how you value yourself. And when you value yourself more strongly, this is for everybody, but particularly for Sagittarius people with Venus in their second house this week, when we value ourselves in a greater capacity, we draw more material blessings into our life. What are you worth? What's your value? Get rid of those old self-sabotaging thoughts about what you're worth and start to draw in value, and you'll see everything starts to change. That's your work this week, Sagittarius. Thank you, Saggy friends. All right, now Capricorn rising, sun or moon people. Well, Venus is in your first house, and that means she's making a square to the South Node in Libra in your 10th and a square to the North Node in Aries in your 4th on the 7th of February. And that's what we're looking at here today. Following on from the 7th of February, we've got a trine to Uranus on the 8th. So the work you do to deal with old self-sabotaging habits and behaviors and beliefs on the 7th of February, the work you do to overcome those things that I'll talk about in a minute may very well lead to a sudden surprising opportunity or blessing the following day. Very powerful combination of energies this week. But when we have Venus in the first house making a square to the nodes, there can be a block to our magnetism. Usually we feel very charismatic and, I'm out there talking to everybody left, right, and center, and they're all loving me, and I can charm other people, and I'm so likable. And on the 7th of February, you're doing all your usual mojo stuff, but it's not cutting it. People are like, tumbleweeds when you crack a joke, or, you go rocking up to class and you're like happy and chatty, and everyone's just like, who is this guy, So it is a bit disheartening in that regard, okay? Push through it. This is the block, my friends. You might want to be loving and affectionate, Venus energy. You might want to be pleasant and diplomatic, but there's a block to that. So maybe you go up to your spouse and have a little cuddle in the kitchen, and they're like, go away, I'm trying to cook dinner. And you're like, this is what we're talking about. There's sort of slaps in the face, not perhaps literally, hopefully not, but slaps in the face to your charisma, to your affection, and your attempts at diplomacy and pleasant interaction. So it can be really disheartening, but you've got to push through it. That's what I keep saying. You've got this square aspect. You need to overcome that, see it objectively, don't take things personally, and move through it, my friends. It's also Venus in the first house square the nodes can lead you to feeling disappointed with relationships. Somebody might have set you up on a matchmaking date, you know, and you go and rock up to dinner at their house and they're the dorkiest person you've ever met. And you're like, no way, Jose. You know, disappointment with connection and partnership opportunities, Venus energy. There can be some strange relationship occurrences if you're in a partnership, very unexpected, very rapid, kind of like changes to a relationship that are really highlighting the need to work through old attitudes. So instead of looking to blame, oh, it's your fault that this didn't work out, or you're my partner and you suck, you know, instead of pointing the finger for whatever reason, look at the self. That's what you've got to do. You've got to do the self work to heal so that you can receive the benefit of the Venus trine to Uranus. You know, if there are difficulties in relationship, what are you doing? What's your attitude that causes that to happen? What do you say that causes those problems? You know, what do you do that causes those problems? Look at yourself first. No pointing the finger under this energy. And this can also represent a need to tighten the belt financially or restructure your finances because Venus is money. If you're a woman listening to this, a Capricorn rising female, you might be behaving, because Venus rules women, behaving very unpredictably, very sort of erratically, you know, tapping into past behaviors or childish sort of characteristics or something, instead of being a mature, grown-up and responsible woman that a Capricorn rising person usually would be. You might discover some, in the positive, some new occult interests under this energy, so, you know, that can be really fun and fabulous. And you might gain some higher level insights, some revelations, some truths might be revealed to you regarding who you are, regarding how you interact with the world, regarding your money, your materiality, these things that Venus rules, regarding relationships, and regarding your sensuality. Now, if you are a man who is Capricorn rising and Venus moving through here, you might be attracted to a woman who has suddenly turned distant, who's suddenly become cold. You know, you thought everything was going fabulously and there's, oh, I think I'm in here, but no, she's like, bugger off, you know? So there's a difficult energy, but push through it. Don't take things personally, as I said. If you're a man, you might also get some revelations about an important woman or the women in your life, sort of aha, epiphany moments. Push through, learn to understand, be compassionate, be gracious, and the blessing could come back to you on the following day, the 8th of August, my friends. And also, I need to just spell out for everybody, man or woman, that this is an energy, how we can work with this energy for the best is to be creative with ourselves. And that's why I did mention, you know, putting the makeup on and doing the hair nice and feeling good about yourself. Get creative with that, you know. Put your best foot forward regardless of what response you get. Don't put the pretty makeup on or dress in your stylish clothing to get a response from others. Do it because it boosts your mood. Do it because your appearance and an appearing beautiful Venus helps you feel good regardless of the reaction and the response you get from the world out there. So get creative. Wear something really, you know, delightfully out of the box, and, you know, maybe try a new makeup style or something like that. Or, you know, if you're a man, you try some new aftershave or something. Do something to your appearance that gives a freshness and aliveness to who you are. And it can really help you, by being creative in that way, to push through these rather difficult, challenging components that I've talked about on this day. Remember, the 8th of February could be the blessing that comes after the storm, you know, the silence after the storm. All right, so thank you, Capricorn. Now, Aquarius rising, Aquarius sun, or Aquarius moon people. We are looking for our Aquarian friends at the 12th house, where Venus is moving through Capricorn, but she's making on the 7th of February a square aspect to the south node and a square aspect to the north node. Now, following on from the 7th of February, we're going to have a trine from Venus to Uranus on the 8th. So the blockages and restrictions we push through on the 7th might result in some sudden benefit and blessing and delight on the 8th. So I'm going to talk about the blockages, and keep in mind, if you can deal with these in a mature, Capricorn is mature, responsible, honest way, then you can move into something really powerful the day after. Venus is what we love and what we enjoy. And in the 12th house, this is a house of international travel, exploration of faraway places. And if you are planning a trip, you might encounter some sort of blockage or restriction. If you're traveling overseas as you watch this, you know, maybe you decided you're going to go and explore the volcano in Hawaii, and something happens and you can't go. There can be a restriction or a blockage. Oh, there's too much sulfur in the air. You're not allowed to go see the volcano. And you're like, damn it, this is my last day in Hawaii. I wanted to go see the, you know. So this is what we're looking at. You're doing some sort of international travel or exploration, and there's a blockage, there's a restriction, there's a frustration that comes up. The 12th house is also spiritual and mystical or tangible, mystical items and experiences. So, you know, it can represent, you know, like you've got a singing bowl. That's a spiritual, tangible item, but it's a mystical item. You know, people who've got singing bowls in their home, you know, they're usually geared to the vibration and the energy that it creates. So these things, there might be an issue or a problem or a blockage or a frustration with spiritual, mystical, tangible items, but also spiritual and mystical experiences as well that aren't perhaps working out the way you want them to. Maybe you booked into a beautiful hotel or resort, which is a 12th house thing, and you're like, oh, I can't wait to go. You rock up to the hotel or the resort, and you're looking at the picture online, you're looking at the hotel. This is not the same. My God, what have I paid for? You know, you're frustrated, you're disappointed. There's a restriction or blockage to your joy and your delight, Venus's delight, in that hotel, that resort. Same goes for some sort of art experience or music experience or film experience. There's a frustration there in some way. Are you in love at the moment? Venus is love. Well, there can be frustration with your love life because your partner might be Aquarius in a faraway place or far away from you, or maybe they have to fly to the other side of the country on that day, and you're like, damn it, I really need them around. You know, I had a rough day at work and I just want to, you know, cuddle, you know, my partner. There can be frustration with distance and separation from the ones you love under this energy. Spending is also a bit of an issue with Venus in the 12th house in a hard aspect like this. You might, if you're not careful, and this is forewarned, forearmed, my friends, you might lose a lot of money on things that make you feel good or things that help you escape reality. You know, you go down to the pub because your partner's far away and you're like, oh, I'll just go and have a few drinks and hang out down the pub, and you stagger home having, you know, spent all your money on alcohol. You know, you seek to escape something that's frustrating you or making you feel bad with an experience that should make you feel good, but you go too far with it. Venus sort of in this energy of frustration here in the 12th house. So spending can be an issue. We might, you know, want to spend money on 12th house things as well, and then we feel thwarted. You know, we want to go on a spiritual retreat, and I look in my bank account, oh, there's not enough money. I want to go and have a acupuncture healing session because the 12th house is healing as well, you know, and, you know, there's, oh man, they're all booked out. And they can't fit me in, and now I'm frustrated, you know. Spending our money on these 12th house sort of realms can feel thwarted and frustrated and irritating. This includes things like anything to do with our utilizing our imagination, any healing, any film, fantasy, illusion, escapism, foreign travel, day spas, hospitals, prisons, hotels, any of those sorts of things. We need to get very disciplined as well because Venus rules alcohol. And here in the 12th house, we need to be very careful of having a sort of a frustrating alcoholic experience because the 12th house has to do with addiction and escapism. We might also be able to apply that with Venus here to sugar. You know, you get that stash of chocolate bars out from under the bed, and you curl up because you're feeling low or whatever, and you just gobble them all down. And then you feel like, oh, I'm such a loser, you know, this is disgusting. And there's no judgment in saying that, you know, we've all had our blowouts with the sugar. But Venus in the 12th house, self-worth, self-value is lowered or frustrated because of some sort of addictive tendency that we have, alcohol or sugar. Relationships can be difficult. Now, it's not easy, Aquarius, but it's only one day. This isn't a permanent state of being. Keep that in mind. This is the house of the enemy of marriage. So some people who may have got other things going on in their chart that have led to this, but there might be some people out there who are getting involved with secret relationships or secret affairs on the 7th. Why is that? Why are they yearning for someone they can't be with, or you know, having unrequited love, or hooking up with someone who ends up deceiving them? You know, why are we having these difficulties? Because it's likely to do with something from the past that needs resolving. This is a karmic axis, South Node, North Node, and it's affecting your Venus in the 12th house of past lives. So it's likely that if you do hook up with somebody or have an affair or anything like that, it is because it is a past life influence, and it needs to be ended, it needs to be resolved, it needs to be concluded in this lifetime. So no judging, you know, but just proceed with caution. There might be ways to end those experiences that don't involve hurt in this lifetime. Maybe employ a bit of wisdom, maturity, detachment as best you can. Some of you might be very unclear about a person you're in a relationship with as well, and you can mislead yourself, so forewarned, forearmed in that regard. The relationship experiences that we undertake on the 7th of February could lead to some sort of disappointment or disillusionment, and certainly if you establish a relationship under this energy on the 7th of February, it's going to be a very karmic one that has to play itself out. So what can we do to really work to the best with this energy that will then allow us to push through the blockages and lead to benefits the day after on the 8th when Venus trines Uranus? Well, perhaps being a bit more detached, learning to let go of a romantic ideal or dream will help you, to navigate that energy better. It might even attract you a more spiritual, refined kind of relationship. But paying karmic debts through relationship will still be likely on the 7th. Relationships can be very out of our control under this energy. You might need to sort of detach a bit so you can face the harsh reality of life, you know. It can be hard to bear, but there perhaps is a need for, you know, sucking it up, as we say. Recognizing where you have unrealistic expectations, and this is not just of relationships, but unrealistic expectations of your bank account or your own beauty can be a thing, Aquarius. You want to look like the ideal and fulfill some fairy tale image that you have of beauty, and you know, you might spend a lot of money, Venus, lose a lot of money, 12th house, trying to meet some very high and unachievable ideas. So being detached and realizing, hang on, I'm going a bit too far with this. I need to rein it in and be a bit more realistic and be a bit more grounded. And of course, creativity. Creativity and indulging your creativity is actually a mechanism for moving out of the past and into the future. Because when we're creative, yes, we can be tapping into creative energies we've experienced in past lives, but when we're creative, it's a forward-looking energy. Like, oh, when I make this dress, I can see it in my mind's eye. It's going to look like that. It's a very creating things requires forward focus. You're present in the now, making something, creating something, producing something, writing something, but you have in your mind where it's taking you, where it's going to be. You're not in the past. Very forward-looking, which is North Node energy. So, in the 12th house, a very creative and imaginative house. Go for it, my Aquarian friends. Make a film, do some photography, you know. Let's say you're a young mum and you've got, you know, 2 kids running around at your feet. Dress them up in some gum boots and a little umbrella and go out and splash in some puddles and take some photos and get creative with the circumstances that you're in. You know, this is a house of poetry. You know, maybe you might like to, you know, write some poems, or, you know, get out your Keats or your Shelley, or your Byron and read a bit of poetry, get your inspiration and then, you know, go for it yourself. So 12th house, divinely inspired, beauty, sort of, you know, romanticized energy. Let's get fully creative and fairy tale like. You know, if this was me, I'm not Aquarius, but if this was me, you know what, I'd be getting my sewing machine out and making some princess dress to satisfy this energy. So thanks, my beautiful Aquarian friends. I hope those insights help you. Then Pisces rising, Pisces sun, and Pisces moon people. Well, we Pisces are experiencing Venus moving through our 11th house. This is a blessed house, which is great. But Venus on the 7th of February is making a square to the past, which is the south node, and a square to the future, which is the north node. So there's blockage and restriction. Something from our past is hindering us regarding Venus things with moving forward into the future. And in the 11th house, what does it look like? Well, it could be social gatherings, you know, something, you know, you might be feeling Pisces like, you know, I just don't want to go out and see that concert of that wonderful pianist that I adore because I don't like large crowds, or I get agoraphobia or something. Concerts, events, fashion shows, Venus rules those things. And of course, large crowds are seen through the 11th house. And maybe you had a bad experience back in the past with a crowd situation and you're like, I just don't want to do that now. So there's a blockage from the past with those large social gatherings. Pisces, you want to move into the positive energy that might come on the 8th with Venus making a trine to Uranus. You've got to overcome that fear. You've got tickets to that concert, that show. You go. Push forward. Overcome that past blockage so that you can move into your future, my friends. That's one example of how that might play out. Friends and friendships are seen through the 11th house, and people who are friendly and being sociable. But Venus is female friends, so especially female friends. There can be issues with your female friends now. They might be very changeable. They might be very unpredictable. There could be sudden changes in your friendship circles, my friends, particularly your friendships with women. You know, if you're a man, this could mean like maybe, you know, you realize that a girl isn't just interested in having a friendship with you at work. She's after something more. And you're like, you know, this is frustrating because I'm not attracted to her, or I only ever thought this was a friendship, you know. So there's this irritation with a woman or a female friend. There could be sudden changes in the fortunes of your female friends. If you look around and see where they're at and what they're doing with their lives, you might notice that your friends are going through a bit of a roller coaster experience because of this. Particularly the north node pertains to a wild ride like Uranus. So there can be sort of frustrations for your friends, not just you, because of this energy forming in your chart. Of course, this is the house of gainfulness as well. And, you know, usually with Venus moving through here, we might find that we're quite gainful through Venusian things during this time. You know, we sell a painting, on Facebook, buy, swap and sell. Not necessarily one of our own paintings. Maybe, you know, we had a artwork hanging on the wall for years and we think, oh, that's a bit outdated. I want to get rid of that. So we sell a painting on Facebook, buy, swap and sell. And any other time when Venus isn't making this hard aspect to the north and south nodes, we might do very well out of selling that painting online in the house of gainfulness, when Venus is in the house of gainfulness. But when there's a square to the north and south node, it can mean that painting doesn't get anywhere near what it's worth. So our ability to be gainful through Venusian things, anything beautiful, anything romantic, food, flowers, art, fashion, makeup, music, those Venusian things that we all love and that make life worth living are blocked, and we cannot be quite as gainful. So if you're thinking of selling some stuff on Facebook, buy, swap and sell, hold off. Hold off for a day or so. Go for the 8th of February rather than the 7th to list your things online, basically. But that's just one example of how this might play out. There might be other ways too that, perhaps you're an artist A lot of Pisces people are, well, you know, I wouldn't be holding an exhibition on the 7th. I'd wait if it's not too late, because you'll do better and be more gainful and get better results if you haven't got Venus making an aspect, and a hard aspect to the nodes. What else, Pisces? Well, there can be blockages of rises to your fortune. This is the house of rewards for our endeavors. You know, getting what we deserve for the effort that we've put in and the worldly activities that we've undertaken. So, you know, maybe you started a new job and you're like, yeah, I'm going to get paid really well, and you get your paycheck on this day, and it's like, hang on a minute, how much tax have I paid? Oh my God, you know, I'm not any better off here than I was in my last job because I'm now paying more tax. You know, you might feel like the reward that you're anticipating or wanting isn't coming through for you. How do you remedy that? Well, perhaps go and talk to your payroll officer and see what the hell's going on. But I'm just giving you these as examples. So, you know, blockage to remuneration, blockage to getting what you deserve. And Venus is very connected to our worthiness and getting what we deserve. So it's really important, Pisces, actually under this energy that you focus on, when it comes to your worldly activities and your career actions, that you focus on how worthy you are. If you're going for a contract, don't undersell yourself. If you're going for, you know, trying to win a bid on a project, don't go for the bottom of the barrel just so you get the job and then you can't cover your costs. You know, really honor yourself and your worthiness, because this energy is trying to teach you something, Pisces. It's trying to say, look, the way you've always behaved in the past, you've got to let go of that regarding self-worth, self-value, regarding what you get from your worldly endeavors. You've got to change it, or else you're going to stay stuck in it forever. It's time to move forward to something new. So honor your own value, and you will, perhaps not on this day, but if you push through that desire to undersell yourself or whatever, and you stick to your guns and say, I'm going to ask for what I deserve here for the work I do, then you might be very surprised the day after when Venus makes a trine to Uranus. Hang on a minute, that paid off. Lo and behold, I got the contract, and I'm getting far more for it than I would have done otherwise, you know. So I'm not saying that that's going to happen for everybody, but if you can push through the blockage and the temptation to sell yourself short, which we all can do sometimes, then on the following day when Venus trines Uranus, you might see that, you know, because you've managed to push through that block and overcome that old past behavior, suddenly things start to go well for you. One more thing that you might be frustrated with is that, you know, you're looking at your goals and dreams, and maybe you're seeing that they haven't come true, that they haven't been fulfilled. You know, you've been working 45 years to, you know, develop a certain status in life or get to a certain social level, and, you know, or achieve some goal or dream, and you look around and go, not there. I haven't done it. I thought I'd be somewhere different by now. You know, all my friends are starting to buy their second investment property, and I can't even buy my own house, and you feel frustrated and sad. I want to tell you, and also there can be frustration with rents, royalties, salaries, and bonuses too under this placement. I just want to tell you guys, you're not alone if you're feeling that way, okay? You're not alone. There are many people in the world who are looking around going, what the hell happened? All of a sudden I got old and here I am with nothing to show for it. And I've worked my guts out my whole life. That aside, Pisces, what can we do to ease these blockages and frustrations and sadnesses that we might be becoming aware of now? Well, we get creative. You know, we find, like, okay, my dreams haven't manifested, and, you know, I'm frustrated by that, but I'm going to sit down with my favorite cup of tea, curl up on the couch, and I'm going to sit down with a book, you know, notebook, and I'm going to work out some new goals, and perhaps goals that are more achievable, more attainable, not so ungrounded as the goals I had before. I'm going to get realistic so that I can feel satisfied and happy with my future, my vision, where I'm going. And you know what? It's a powerful thing to do that. and it's a creative thing to do that. Let's be real, Pisces. It's hard for us, I will admit, to be grounded and realistic, but let's do so. Let's get realistic, and let's start to be happy about what's happening in our lives, where we're at, and what's unfolding, because we're taking a creative approach to what otherwise might be limitations and frustrations. Get creative with your friends, because Venus is creativity. So by getting creative with your friends, maybe you want to go out and do something with your friends, but we've been to that restaurant before, or we've seen that movie or whatever. Be creative. Come up with some new idea for a good time you can have with your friends, and that will be a great antidote to this energy also for Pisces. So good luck, my Pisces friends, with this energy. All right, Aries. Aries rising, Aries sun, and Aries moon, people. You can look at all three of your placements if you know what they are. We are looking at the 7th of February, and on the 7th of February, we've got Venus up here in Capricorn, your 10th house, making a square aspect to the North Node and a square aspect, 90-degree aspect to the South Node. This is a very karmic interaction. And what it does, it's speaking to there being some blockage coming from the past, Aries. Some old habit you've got, or way of thinking, or influence of somebody else on your life from the past that is holding you back from moving into the future. And so you're going to feel that life is blocked in a certain area. And the more that you can act with maturity, Capricorn, and responsibility, Capricorn energy, to push through those blockages, which we'll talk about in a minute, the more that you have the chance to evolve and step up in life. And you might even find that on the following day, the 8th of February, there's some blessing that comes your way through Venus being in a trine with Uranus, which is a wonderful, exciting, liberating energy. So what does it mean? Well, this energy, this is how the world views us. Venus in the 10th. And, you want to be charming. Venus is charm and grace and beauty, but you're blocked with that. Like you think you're being charming, you think you're being witty or gracious or something, but everybody else is perceiving it as, being a dickhead. So you've got this block to your charisma and charm being effectual. That's one of the ways this can play out. There's difficulties perhaps dealing with government, with authority figures, with getting, your planning permit through the planning department, or dealing with the police force, or trying to get a permit for your car or something like that. There's difficulties with authority figures, blockages, restrictions. So, wait till the day after before you go booking your driving test or applying for your planning permit. It's not a good energy to submit documents to council under this energy. I mean, depends on your natal chart, of course, but generally with this, no. There could be frustrations with a father or a father figure now, and if not an actual masculine father, it could be if your mother wore the pants in your family. It could be with your mother if she was the more, let's say, masculine energy out of the parents. So there could be some issues of frustration and difficulty there. There might be some blockages to you being able to get out in public, Aries, like you want to go and you've got a presentation to make at work or something like that, and you wake up and your throat's sore and your brow's sweaty and you're like, I can't go out, I'm sick, I've got to stay home. So literally you can't go out in public, you've got to stay home and get over that cold or whatever. This is also because the axis of the North Node and South Node is on your relationship axis at the moment. Very powerful axis. Your relationship issues and challenges could be very obvious to the world now. Venus is love, and Venus rules your 7th house of partnership. So relationship issues and concerns could be out there for all the world to see. This is your dirty washing being hung out. It could be very hard to try to hide them or downplay those difficulties because they're going to be seen. And the same goes for financial problems because Venus rules finances. So there's difficulty there that needs to be pushed through. Blockages and restriction and irritations that need to be pushed through as well and dealt with maturely as you can. If you need to spend money, well, Venus is how we spend money. And here in the sign of Capricorn, in the 10th house, There might be a need to spend money on some high-end, big-ticket items, and there could be frustration with that. Like, oh my God, my Aldi's blown a gasket and I've got to go and replace everything. And so, you know, your high-end luxury items are costing you big bucks in the hip pocket. Be careful, be conscious. Like sometimes we have the ability, like when your car blows a gasket, well, you've got to get from A to B, don't you? So you've got to do something about it. But sometimes we might be spending willy-nilly on high-end luxury items that we don't need. And be careful of taking it too far under this energy. There might be a need to rein it in and keep your budget under control somehow. There might also be, because Venus is prosperity, there might, and Capricorn in the 10th house have to do with the father, so there might be some disappointing changes regarding the wealth of your father or the prosperity of your father that you experience. So there could be all of these things unfolding, and these can obviously lead to sort of some irritation, some frustration with your week. But if you can push through these, as I said, with maturity and responsibility, then you might suddenly get some sort of material, financial blessing that comes your way, because Uranus is down here in the second house of your resources, material goods, to Venus, which has an association with the second house in the 10th house, so sitting here in the 10th house. So there could be some unexpected windfall or blessing that might come. You know, you think that your boss has got it in for you, and you know you have a situation with your boss, irritation, frustration with something at work, but your boss observes you behaving in a mature, responsible way about that irritation, about that frustration. And the next day he calls you into his office and he says, you know, I saw how you handled that situation at work yesterday. I was very impressed with your maturity, your responsibility. I'd like to offer you a promotion because I know you can handle the heat. Lo and behold, the day after, there it is. Promotion, more resources, more money in your pocket. So that's an example. I'm not saying it's going to happen for everyone, but it's an example of how the energies can unfold. How you handle this square to the nodes will determine very much your future going forward. Mightn't be in quite as obvious a way as I've just described, but certainly the potential is there. So let's be conscious and even somewhat detached about how we're reacting to the circumstances of our life on the 7th of Feb. And also by being creative. Venus in its most beautiful expression is a creative energy. It wants beauty, it wants loveliness, it wants pleasure. And so you can bring those things into your career now. You know, let's be creative about a project that you're working on. Let's be gracious. Venus is gracious about dealing with the people in the environment that you have at work. Let's be thinking about new ways that you can achieve what you want to in the world, to get around issues and problems, to solve problems. Of course, you've got Mars there exalted in Capricorn at the moment too, which is a problem-solving energy. You know, how can we find solutions? So lots of good ways that you can creatively work with putting yourself out there in the world, with being seen, with your career, with creating a legacy that can help you navigate through some of the challenges and lead you to a really good outcome, Aries. And moving right along, we're going to look at Taurus rising, Taurus sun, or Taurus moon now. Well, my Taurus friends, this energy on the 7th of February that we're exploring this week is all about the the sextile. I will get my intention clear in just a second. The square aspect from Venus to the North Node and a square aspect from Venus to the South Node. This is a very karmic energy, and it can often mean you are in a state of pushing through old blockages from the past, old attitudes, old self-sabotaging behaviors, and old frustrations, in order to move out of that energy and into something new. But there's a limitation there. There's a wall that you've got to push through or overcome. There's work to be done. So what does this look like? And of course, if you can push through, you may very well be the recipient of some blessing from the universe on the following day, the 8th, when Venus trines Uranus in your first house. Now, if you're a man, a Taurus rising gentleman watching this video, you might have some difficulties regarding an attraction to a foreign woman. Venus in the house of people from other cultures. So a man might experience some sort of difficulty with a foreign woman, or a frustration in sort of dating a foreign woman. You might find that you're attracted, Taurus rising men, to a woman who is highly spiritual, or who works in academia or education. And even though they've got this attraction, or you might meet her in a place of academia or a spiritual place or something, or overseas, there's a frustration of, you know, this is not going anywhere. I'm trying to make this happen and it's not happening. You know, I'm not getting somewhere with this lovely woman that I'm attracted to. If you're a woman with this energy, well, the frustration is likely to manifest more in spending money on travel, on academia, on being involved in other cultures, in publishing, faith or belief-based circumstances, study and learning. You might be frustrated with those things. Let's say you want to go on a trip to the Bahamas, and maybe someone's running a spiritual retreat there or something like that. You think, oh yeah, I've got the money in my account. You go to pay for it, and hang on, your credit card bounces. You have a look and the money's all gone. It's like, what? So frustration with the ability to tap into those third house experiences and third house things. You might discover on the 7th of February that you actually need to tighten your purse strings in some way, and that you've been spending money unbeknown to you in ways that, you know, aren't helping out that credit card. So this is an energy where your interest in international affairs, or your ability to participate in international circumstances like buying and selling or trade, or you know, maybe you're having your voice heard on the international level, might feel blocked or restricted in some manner as well. So if you're usually into, you know, buying and selling or trading internationally, you know, it mightn't all go, you know, to plan on the 7th. It might not be as rosy as it usually is. It could feel blocked. It could feel thwarted. Older women in your life can bring you some high-level insights, oftentimes, because this is Capricorn energy. So the house of inspiration for a Taurus person, the house of wisdom, is connected to older people, Capricorn energy. And with Venus here, we're looking at women. So that might be the usual state of being with Venus in Capricorn, but there might be a block to the usual wisdom, maybe because of the square to the node. So maybe you, when you're in a tight spot, you usually ring up your mentor or your, you know, older woman guru person, you know, and you're trying to get through to her and through to her and through to her on the 7th, and you just can't. Like, there's no one picking up, and you need to make a decision, and you can't get the wisdom and the advice that you might otherwise get. So older women who usually bring high level insights, somehow they feel blocked or thwarted. You might also find your own capacity to understand you know, anything higher knowledge regarding money, relationships, or materiality is blocked as well. You know, maybe this is a house of getting good advice from high-level wisdom keepers. So you want to get some advice from your investment guru, and they're impossible to, you know, get in touch with as well, or you know, some sort of a accountant or investment firm or something, and you just can't seem to get the information, the high-level knowledge that you need under this energy. So there could be frustrations with that, frustrations with gurus, frustrations with people of higher wisdom. There can be frustrations with your ability to sort of get some sort of spiritual insight. You're trying to understand, you're trying to get a psychological perspective on things, and it's not opening up for you. You can't see the forest for the trees, as they say. You know, ordinarily you'd look for signs and omens in your life, perhaps, Taurus, you know. I love it when signs and omens show up in life, and we get the affirmation from the universe. And, you know, you after a while of seeing these things, you kind of learn to look for them. You know, oh, I'm going to make this decision. What is the universe saying about that? And you're looking around waiting for the butterfly to come land on your arm, or whatever it is that's a sign for you. Nothing. Tumbleweeds. There's a blockage. Because of this energy, there's a blockage to receiving those messages from spirit, those psychic downloads or those insights. They're not coming for you the way they usually do. There can be even, you're wanting to understand certain morals or ethics or values or philosophies, and you can't get your head around them. There's a blockage to understanding the truth now, or seeing the truth. But remember, it's only a day. It's not a permanent state of being. It's just a passing energy. This is a time, Venus making these aspects, when your vision for the future and where you're heading and what you're here to achieve might need to be restructured in some way. So there's a changing of future direction because of this energy. And you might find that, you need to sit down with a book and a cup of tea, notebook and a cup of tea, and figure out, where am I going? What am I doing? What is my purpose and meaning looking like? Because you're letting go of old past ideas about what is purposeful and meaningful. Square to the South Node. It might feel very hard to let go of those ideas too, but you've got to let go of them in order to move into the destiny. You've got to overcome that block, and you've got to be mature about it, Capricorn energy. You've got to be wise about it, Capricorn energy. So there's a need to overcome the blockages so that you can move into the future, and this requires a restructuring and a changing of future direction. Now, if you can do this, if you can sit down and say, okay, well, this hasn't worked out and I'm not where I want to be, but let's look to the future, then on the following day, the 8th of February, Venus trine Uranus can bring you some sort of blessing to help you move into that energy. You might get the omen you've been looking for on the 8th. You might get the sign from the universe, like the door is open, go for it, this is where you're meant to be. But first of all, you've got to change that career direction, or that goal, that dream that you're aspiring towards on the 7th of Feb. Get creative. Venus' antidote to a lot of these difficulties is to be creative, and use this chance to get creative about where you want to go. Get creative about what you want your future to look like. This is, remember, the 9th house is looking ahead to where we're going and what you've got to do to get there, and making the roadmap, making the plan for how you're going to get from A to B. So get creative about how you're going to do that, how you're going to make it happen, and go for it, because this energy, in that sense, can be very beneficial for moving into new things. Thank you, Taurus. Gemini rising, Gemini sun, and Gemini moon people. Well, the energy, let me stop you from going for your restless wander that you are prone to do, Gemini. The energy of Venus in Capricorn squaring the nodes is affecting your 8th house, Gemini. That's where you're going to feel it. That's where there might be, there's a need to move into your future, but it's blocked. Like the old past habits and ideas and ideologies are holding you back, and you've got to push through those and make changes so that you can move into your destiny. And so that's what the theme that we're looking at on the 7th of February is. If you can push through with maturity, Capricorn, and change what needs changing in your life, then on the 8th, when Venus makes a trine to Uranus, you might get some sudden benefit to help you move forward on your new path. So ordinarily, when you're scratching for answers, you might be somebody who usually goes to the tarot cards or the runes, or you get out the astrology and you look at what's happening. Well, this is an energy blockage. Venus in the 8th house being blocked, having this difficult energy with the nodes, can mean those tarot cards aren't telling you anything. The runes come up and it's like they're not even speaking your language. You look at the astrology and you can't make head or tail of how it's applying to your life. There's a block, and it's not a block with those mechanisms. It's the blocks in your own psychological being. Because of this, we're vessels of energy, because there's a blocked energy playing out on this day. So don't give up on the tarot cards. Don't give up on the astrology. It's just the energy of the moment, and it will shift and it will change. But on the 7th, it's not there for you, I'm afraid. You might get mixed messages or inappropriate messages from any readings you have done with shamans or astrologers or any type of psychic readers or anything. So it's not a good day for booking in to speak to any of those people, for sure. If you're a woman, a Gemini rising woman who's having this experience, you might feel like, a hunger to dive deep into shamanism, alchemy, astrology, psychology, or energy healing. You want it. You're like, I want to understand. I want to learn something new. I want to go deep with this stuff. But there's a block to doing so. You're trying to sign up to the Royal Stars Academy on the website, and the website goes down. and you can't sign up. Like literally there is a block there to actually doing so. Okay, but don't give up. Come back again the next day and sign up. But this is what we're saying. You know, you're going to be hungry to understand these things more, but there's a restriction and a blockage to doing so. If you're a man experiencing this energy, then Venus here can represent that you might find yourself suddenly attracted to somebody who has an interest in those things. You might find that you're very attracted to an astrologer or a tarot card reader or some sort of psychologist that you encounter, and you're like, wouldn't mind going on a date with them, but there's a block there. You know, you I don't know, try and send flowers to her office or something, and they go to the wrong office, and you're like, oh, dull, blockages, restrictions. If you're a man trying to make it, you know, with a woman who's a very 8th house type of woman. So hold off, wait a day or two, and then try again. This is also the house of sex, tantric experiences, intimacy. Deep intimacy is 8th house. So we're talking about blockage. Venus is desire and passion, and there's a blockage to that. Now, it won't last long, I have to point out. It's not going to last long because very soon Venus and Mars are going to make a conjunction for you Gemini people in your 8th house. So hang on to your hat. It's all going to go off like a rocket before the month is out. However, you're going to perhaps feel some restriction or blockage of your magnetism sexually. Your sexual energy might be at a really low level, like your libido is just non-existent. Frustration with that, irritation with that. You know, when I was 20, you know, it was all happening and it was great. And then, you know, on this day, the 7th of Feb, you're like, man, what's happened to me? There can also be some psychological games in relationships. This is a very shadow side of this energy that are inhibiting you, like your own thought processes, you know, maybe past life events. This is South Node energy, past life hang-ups around sexual intimacy or traumas from relationships from past lives might be actually very much at the surface impeding the sexual enjoyment in this lifetime or the ability to have an intimate relationship in this lifetime. And Venus wants you to push through this. That's what Venus squaring the nodes is all about. Like, how are you dealing with this? This is the 5th house energy where the South Node is. Love, romance, dating, making a square aspect to the house of sex. There is a block there between these two. Of course, Venus rules the 5th house as well. So, in a nutshell, my friends, be very conscious and don't be blaming yourself or judging others or judging yourself if sexually things aren't happening or you're frustrated with your sexual experiences. It's just the energy of the day, but it's causing you to face perhaps some inhibitions that you have or some self-sabotaging behaviors or some issues around your self-worth and self-value that need to be concluded so that you can have a thriving, flourishing sexual relationship. So do the work. Be mature, be responsible. Don't run away from it. Don't pretend it's not there. Deal with it, and so that you can push through into a better destiny, a better future. Now, on other topics pertaining to Venus in the 8th house, there might be a need to revisit your finances, and look at how you're spending your money, particularly the idea of personal material stability and security. This is the house of insecurity materially, whereas the opposite house, the 2nd house, is a house of stability materially. So there could be a need to look at your finances to how am I going to make things more stable, because by God, I'm sick of feeling blocked in life because of my unstable finances. You know, I'm up and I'm down and I never know what I'm earning from week to week, and how can I possibly get ahead and make plans for the future when there's just so much erraticism. So there's a real need here to really unravel those blocks to stability, those blocks to a sense of security. There could be some frustration for some people watching this, frustration regarding their inheritances. Maybe they expected a windfall, you know, to come their way. You know, you thought you'd win Tats Lotto, but you didn't. Or maybe you thought, you know, oh, I'm going to Grandma's will reading tomorrow, and you rock up and you thought you'd get something, but you get nothing, you know. frustration with inheritances, wills, tax returns, dividends, those sorts of things, where we get something that we didn't earn, basically, as 8th house. So it pertains to all those financial resources that were not something we earned off the sweat of our own brow. We might even have some annoyances with people's attempts to provide moral or emotional support. You know, somebody sees you having a rough time and they, you know, try to reach out with, oh, I just wanted to give you a phone call, see how you're doing. And you're like, I just don't want to talk to that person. Sick of that. You know, I just want to deal with my issues myself and I don't want other people to know about them. Frustration with other people and their presence in your life, trying to support you, help you, be gracious to you, Venus. So there's a block and a restriction and a frustration there with that as well. Partners' finances are seen through the 8th house too. So again, this is other people's finances. You're benefiting from somebody else's ability to make money when you've got a partner. And so partners can be a bit financially stingy under this energy. There's a blockage, like you ask your partner, oh, can I have some money to, you know, go buy, I don't know, a chainsaw for the tool shed? And they're like, no, I don't think we've got the money. I'm not going to give you the money for that. And you're like, oh, frustration, annoyance. So partners being sort of withholding or stingy, according to your perception, with their resources can be a point of frustration for you. And it can be equally frustrating trying to get some use of community property, you know, hiring a hall to run your yoga class, or looking for a venue to hold an art exhibition or something, and you're just frustrated over and over again. Don't go looking for it on the 7th of February. I'd wait a day or two, and you'll probably have far more luck finding the right venue and making sure it's free and affordable. Some people under this influence of blockage might begin to stash or hide money away in some way. Secrets. This is the house of secrets, secret money. And that's neither here nor there, neither good nor bad. You know, it probably pays to have a rainy day account somewhere. But secret money, yes. Just be careful. It's your money that you're using for that, and not sort of helping yourself to the till, or someone else's money, of course. So how do we deal with this energy? Well, I feel that the best way to deal with this karmic square to the nodes, my friends, is actually to be creative. Be creative in your sex life. You know, okay, things mightn't work the way they once did or whatever, but what can you do to bring creativity into that sexual realm, the tantric realm, or, you know, your intimacy? You know, how can you make your experiences, even, you know, if it's not as climatic as it once was, how can you make it beautiful, Venus energy, creative and fulfilling in other ways? Put your creative energy to work for you in 8th house realms. Instead of, you know, okay, you go to a tarot card reader and, you know, you don't get the response you're looking for, it doesn't feel right or whatever, like I said in the beginning. But Gemini, why don't you sit down with your creative watercolor paints and design your own tarot card deck? You know, get creative about something occult. You know, even if the messages aren't coming through, maybe your artistry, Venus, or your creative capacity could be directed into those 8th house things, and it could be very cathartic and healing. It's creativity is the healing energy under this influence this week, my friends. So, and if we do that, and we find that we're sort of more balanced and harmonious because of it, then on the 8th, we might find that we have some sort of blessing. You know, somebody says, oh, I love your tarot card designs. You know, you should publish that. And, you know, I'll be the first one to buy a deck. And, you know, they put the money down and they say, go right ahead and do it because I want one. You know, this is a silly example, but an example of the difficulty and the frustration being well utilized, you know, using that energy for some better purpose, and it leading to a blessing in the days that follow. All right, thank you, my beautiful Gemini friends. Moving on now to Cancer. Cancer rising, Cancer sun, and Cancer moon friends. Well, my Cancer people, we are having I use the royal we there. We are having the energy of Venus in your 7th house of relationships, but at this time, Venus is making a square to the south node and a square to the north node, meaning there's some restriction and blockage coming from your past that's holding you back from moving into the potential of your future. So, this is playing out through the 7th house of relationships, connections, partnerships. There might be a blockage to being able to socialize. Socializing is a Venus energy. Blockages to you being able to socialize with a partner. You know, you're invited out to a dinner party and you say to your partner, hey, we're invited to this dinner party. Can you be home by 6 o'clock? No, they have to work late. So you can't go and enjoy these socializing, these pleasures, these luxuries, which are Venus things, with your partner. There's a block to that on the 7th of Feb. Single people, if you're single with this energy, there might be a feeling that a sense that Venusian things, beauty, love, money, are far away from you. You can't grab them at the moment. Like, you want to be in a relationship maybe, but there's tumbleweed city. There's nobody out there that's interesting you, and you're like, hey, I've never felt it so sort of dry and crusty with relationships before. There's just nobody. Or maybe you're wanting to generate some more money in your life, or have a bit of spending money to go shopping with or something, and nothing. You look at your bank account and the moths fly out of your purse. That kind of thing. So single people, and with regard to money, it could be anybody really, but you feel that these things that you want, these beautiful Venusian things, are sort of not with you. It might make you sad. Remember, it's an energy. It's not a state of being permanently, and it will pass. Energies change. So especially for Cancer people, where their lives are much more ebb and flow than for others, like tide coming in, tide going out. So here is Cancer energy, and as the furthest away you can get from your house, the house of you, first house, is the 7th. So it feels like Venus is far away and there's a block to obtaining these Venus things. But it's a passing energy, don't fret. This is not a good energy for first dates. Look, if you did go on a first date, or if you did establish a relationship under this energy, you probably will end up disappointed with the outcome, but it'll also probably be a highly karmic energy from the past. Some of you might have past loves coming back into your life, wanting to restart things or rekindle the flame. Do you really want to go there? Think about it. So you'll either be disappointed with the outcome, or it will be somebody from the past looking to try and, ease their conscience, or sort out some past energy between you, or somebody new might come into your life who's actually very karmic energy that needs to play out. And look, existing relationships might feel a bit boring, a bit tedious, a bit worn out, because all the pleasure and delight that is usually found through Venus in relationships is blocked and restricted, and all we get's the frustration, all we get's the irritation with our dating, but also with our marriages as well. A really healthy marriage that any other time might be flourishing and happy could feel like Yawn City on the 7th for our Cancer friends. So just beware that that's a passing energy. It's not a reflection of reality, probably not a permanent state of being, but it could actually be that you're tapping back into some past feeling or attitude that's coming to the surface to be worked through. Now, if you're down to earth and realistic about your partnerships, because this is happening in Capricorn, if you can push through these blockages and irritations, then you could actually move into a future blessing that solidifies something for the long term in your relational life. So you push through that energy of boredom and frustration, and you look instead with eyes of love, find the good, find the beauty, even in the mundane, ordinary life, and lo and behold, it helps you solidify something for the long term with the love of your life, with your partner, with your, that kind of thing. If you're not in a happy relationship, because let's face it, all our relational statuses are, they vary from time to time, but if you're in a relationship where it's just constantly difficult and you're like, how much longer am I going to put up with this? Well, this energy of Venus making a square to the nodes might open another crack in that relationship, you know, another area to be frustrated by, another disappointment that's really putting the nail in the coffin. So for one for arm, this could be a challenging energy. You might notice, because this is the house of partners, that partners are being more standoffish, more detached, more cool, or behaving in a more restrictive fashion because they themselves and their love, their usual warmth and affection is blocked and restricted by this aspect to the nodes. They could be more critical now. They might be more oppressive in your life in some way, holding you back. Might feel that your partners are financially stingy. Venus is money and how we spend, and your partners might not be spending very much. And you're like, you know, you went grocery shopping, didn't you get this, didn't you get that? And you're like, you know, stingy. That can be part of the energy. Frustration with partners and their spending habits. Business deals, agreements, contracts, and alliances are also seen from the 7th house. And any of those things, any business deals and contracts and alliances with women can feel blocked because Venus is women and there's a restriction here. There's a holding back and there's a feeling like I can't trust this person or I'm not willing to go there. It's an energy that will end, like it will play out over a day or two and then it'll pass. So, you know, put off your negotiations until this energy passes and you might find you're in a different place, a different spot. And look, as much as possible to remedy this, to deal with this energy, get creative, because that's the beautiful Venus energy that we have to be very proactive about. Get creative with your relationships, you know, suggest going on a date and do something different to what you usually do, you know. Maybe you usually, you know, oh, it's date night, okay, well, I'm going to cook his favorite meal and put candles on the table again. Well, if that's what you always do for a date, sorry, but you need to do something creative. You know, pack up a picnic or go for a bike ride to a really remote spot and, you know, make love in the open air or something fun. You know, do something really different for a date now that you wouldn't ordinarily do. Get creative, you know, put some sparkle back into the relationship. And even though the relationships or the interactions with other people might not have the zest that you otherwise might like to be there, what you do, what the romance that you bring, Venus energy, can actually establish something deeper for the long term, even if the feelings and the emotions feel blocked on the 7th. So do the work. What was that? An old relationship course I did once used the phrase feel the fear and do it anyway. Well, in this case, I'm sort of saying feel the lack of feelings, notice or recognize the lack of feelings, but do it anyway, because the benefit that it can bring you in the long term could really be quite surprising, especially as Venus will be trining Uranus, planet of sudden shocks, sudden surprises and inspiration, the day after this forms. So notice the frustration or the lack of emotion or lack of feeling relationally and push through it anyway. Do something loving, do something kind, do something romantic with your partner, and the benefits and rewards could be reaped as soon as the following day. Thank you, Cancer. All right, lovely Leos. Leo rising, Leo sun, and Leo moon people. That's me, along with many others who watch this. We are looking at Venus being in the 6th house. Not an easy house for Venus to be in, but Venus is making an aspect by square to the North Node in Aries, the 9th house, and the South Node in Libra, the 3rd house. This is an energy of feeling frustrated and blocked and restricted regarding Venus in 6th house themes. So we could actually find that we have difficulties with female antagonists. On the 7th of February, this will occur. So, you know, look, antagonists take many forms, don't they? You go to get your license renewed at the Department of Motor Vehicles and, you know, you've basically got Selma or Patty sitting behind the desk, you know. Those who watch The Simpsons will know who I'm referring to there. But you know, there's an antagonist right there behind the desk, you know, a female antagonist. Or maybe you work with somebody who's just always putting you down or niggling you or showing you up at work or something, and you're like, oh, I'm sick of that person. Well, there's a frustration with that could take place. There's an irritation that could take place. Be forewarned, forearmed. This is also Venus is love. Venus is relationships. And if you were to begin a relationship with this placement, the relationship would be incredibly imbalanced. You would be in a relationship with somebody where there was different levels of feeling of worth, different financial circumstances, different energy of love given to love received. So do be careful of starting up any new relationships under this energy. I'd hold off and wait till this square to the nodes passes. In fact, if you can manage it, I would wait until Venus is out of Capricorn altogether for that one. Relationships started under this influence with Venus in the 6th house could actually end up being more critical or just difficult in general, okay? Now, the 6th house is problems, it's debts, it's financial imbalance. You might be feeling the pinch, Leo. You might feel like your money is just disappearing left, right, and center no matter how much you try and save. How hard you work, it just is gone on bills and, you know, daily needs and supporting other people and all that sort of thing. And it could leave you, my beautiful, usually quite buoyant Leo people, feeling somewhat rather low. Venus is the energy of self-worth. And here in the 6th house, you know, you might be like, oh, you know, I don't work hard enough, or I don't earn enough, and, you know, I'm not enough, I'm not worthy enough to get better pay or to see things go, you know, well enough in my life to get rid of my debt. You could just be feeling really down on yourself. Forewarned, forearmed, it's an energy that will pass, but do all you can to keep your self-worth buoyant during this time. Also be very careful of your diet, because this is the house of what we eat, and sweet tooth indulgences could cause health problems. Venus is your sweet tooth here in the 6th house, making aspects to the nodes of a hard variety. So if you use food to self-soothe, you know, like you're feeling low, you're feeling unworthy, you're feeling down, and you pull out that, you know, bunch of chocolate bars you've kept hidden under the bed and gobble them all down, well, it's, you know, it's not going to help. In fact, it's going to make things worse. It could help you feel worse about yourself. So Capricorn energy, where this is all taking place, is about being mature, being detached, being wise, and being very stoic. So if you can start to implement those sorts of things, you know, instead of pulling out the chocolate bars, you're like, you know what, I think I'm going to go for a walk and try and get some clarity in my head now. That's a far better way of dealing with things than gobbling up all the junk food inside. Saturn discipline, Saturn restriction, Capricorn energy is a far better way to deal with this. I'd also, you know, it probably isn't a very good energy to be looking for help from other women, Leo, at this time, because you might be reaching out to other women for help and assistance to solve problems, but their ability to help you is blocked and restricted and held back in some way by these square aspects as well. So wait till this transit is over on the 7th before you reach out for assistance and help from others. And I'm talking practical assistance, not advice, but, you know, let's say maybe you're feeling really sick and you've got kids to feed, single mum, nobody else is going to do the cooking except you. And so you ring up maybe a neighbor or a relative or an aunt or something and say, look, could you just come around, and I've got food in the fridge, could you just feed my kids? I need to go to bed and sleep because I'm so sick. And they're available to you. They're not there for you. That's what this is the kind of thing we're talking about. There's a block and a restriction to being supported, being helped with the problems of life. The 6th house is our problems, you know, our difficulties, the issues that we need to sort out. And so I just want to forewarn you that the ability to solve problems is a lot more restricted. And if you're looking to help solve your problems by reaching out to other women, you're unlikely to be successful. But this all finishes up and passes by the 8th. And then you might be surprised Okay, Aunt Martha says, oh, well, I wasn't able to help you yesterday, but I'm coming around tomorrow and I'm bringing 50 casseroles to put in your deep freeze so that, you know, next time it happens, you'll be okay. And it's like, surprise, hello, Uranus sending a blessing in that way. So you see how this works. If you can, you know, manage to be mature and stoic, Capricorn energy regarding your issues and problems and difficulties, you will find that on the 8th, when this energy changes and shifts into a more blessed tone, that something can happen that really sets you up to be able to deal with your problems and challenges and difficulties better in the future. So good luck with that one, my beautiful Leo friends. Don't go too all out on the chocolate bars and know that this is a passing energy. The more creatively you can deal with these issues, the better off you can actually be, and the more you're able to push through the limitations of this energy. So I would say in the 6th house, maybe get creative about the food that you eat. Okay, Aunt Martha can't come around and help you feed your kids that night, but maybe you can find the strength to do something very creative with some bread and tomato sauce and cheese under the griller, perhaps, or something. But put your creativity to work, Venus energy, in 6th house things: diet, exercise, health, well-being, you know, creativity about how you're going to solve all the problems in your life. And you might find that through being creative, the blessing comes ultimately. Yeah, and look, Leos are good problem solvers, I have to say, because they have Capricorn as the 6th house. Capricorn is that stoic endurance, but it's also being a strategist. Capricorn is very strategic, and you've got the general, you've got Mars there, not far away at the moment as well, Leo. Mars is exalted in Capricorn. Mars is making a strategic plan for how you're going to get from A to B. And here in the 6th house of problem solving, you really have a powerful way to creatively come to some solutions for the problems that you experience in life. Happy to tell you that, Leo. And again, that's why you're good problem solvers, because you've got this strong Capricornian, structured, organized energy in the house of solving problems. Thank you, Leo. All right, lucky last, my Virgo rising, sun or moon people. Well, if you are a Virgo person, you are having Venus in your 5th house squaring the nodes in your 2nd and 8th houses. And this is a difficult energy. This is blockage. This is restriction of Venus things. And 5th house energies come into bear here too. So, you know, this is the house of good karma. Good karma from past lives, being lucky, you know, landing on your feet. Unfortunately, on the 7th of February, there's a restriction to that. You might feel like, you know, your luck's dried up and vanished. Like there's frustrations about how, you know, how much good karma you usually might be experiencing. Ordinarily, you might feel like the wind is in your sails, but under this energy on the 7th, suddenly the wind's not blowing at all and you're stuck. So for one for arm, that's just a feeling. It's an energy that will pass and it won't be there permanently. This is a house of what we love, and Venus also has to do with what we love. This is a house of joy, and guess what? When Venus is making these aspects, our ability to feel love, our ability to feel joy, Virgo, it can feel blocked and restricted and held back. You know, what usually gives you a buzz, what usually makes you feel energized and delighted, it's not doing it for you now. And you know, I remember when I was a kid, I used to feel this energy very strongly from time to time. And I'd go to my mum, who would be hanging washing on the line or doing something, and say, I'm bored. And, you know, she'd say, well, why don't you go and, you know, do the things I always love to do. Play with your Barbie dolls, go sew some dresses, go build some cubby houses, she'd have a million suggestions. Go do this, go do that, go blah, blah, blah. No, I don't feel like it. No, that doesn't float my boat. No, I don't want to do that today. And there would be just some days where it didn't matter what I thought about doing, nothing made me feel good. Nothing made me feel happy. Nothing made me feel excited. Those days sucked. I remember that, not fondly, I remember those days where, you know, I'm a very creative person and just nothing would be floating my boat. So that's what we're talking about here. It's only a day. It will pass. Don't see it as a permanent state of being. Just work with it as best you can. If you can't find anything to give you joy, I don't know, maybe go have a nana nap, have a sleep or something, and wait for the day to pass. But the usual pleasures of life, which are very fifth house and very Venus based, there's a blockage of those, and you feel like the world's just less glamorous, less romantic, less fun, and you know, you feel like, you know, I'll go have a sleep and wait for it to pass. Now, if you have fans or followers, this is also connected to fifth house energy. Now, it's not just a blockage here with fans and followers. Maybe your YouTube channel just doesn't grow at all on this day, but you might actually receive some criticism or negativity, particularly from women, on the 7th of February. So that's something to be aware of as well. Like, try and handle it as impersonally as possible. Let it be water off a duck's back. Don't take it personally, but forewarned, forearmed. If you have, like, this is a house of taking a risk, you know, putting yourself out there. And, you know, you might be very good at taking risks ordinarily, and maybe risks tend to pay off for you. I don't know. It would depend on the structure of your natal chart. But this day is not a day for taking particularly financial risks, because they will be unlikely to pay off. Venus is blocked, and it could be that an old belief or attitude is holding back the benefit of taking that risk, because Venus is making a square to the South Node and going to do not much to help you move into your destiny as well. If you work in Venusian areas, fashion, beauty, maybe you're a hairdresser or a beautician or a fashion designer, you might feel that you're just not getting anywhere. Like the ability to, like, your creative genius is seen through the fifth house, and the creative juices aren't flowing, the inspiration's not coming, and there's just, you're feeling held back in some way. Or maybe you thought you had a big contract for I don't know, a line of clothing or something, and you know, you're just not getting the feedback from that line of clothing that you wanted, or you feel restricted with that contract in some way. Socializing and having fun with your female friends might be completely blocked. You know, there could be a feeling of frustration. You want to go out for dinner with the girlies, then, you know, you've got to call up sick. I can't come, you know. Absolute blockage of being able to have the fun that you would usually have, particularly with women, Venus here. There could be, you know, that you're invited. It's not going to stop the invitations to fashion events, social events, you know, maybe going out to a restaurant or a concert or something like that. They're still going to come thick and fast, perhaps, but you can't. You might be able to attend them all. You know, oh well, I've said yes to going out to dinner for Mum's 60th or something, but lo and behold, you know, and I think I'd rather go to that concert with my girlfriends, and I can't because I've said yes to the, you know, this sort of thing. There's some frustrations, some limitations on your ability to have fun and be playful and enjoy all that good stuff. I'd also suggest Venus is romantic love and dating here in the fifth house of romance, dating, boyfriends, girlfriends. And if you meet someone and, you know, or go on a date under this energy, just know it's going to be very karmic, very karmic. There'll be karmic lessons to be learned. You might be, the universe might be wanting you to sort of learn a lesson from the past that you didn't learn maybe 20 years ago, or maybe even a past life, and there'll be some karmic knots to unravel. Capricorn energy here is asking you to be mature and responsible about how you deal with that, so that you can overcome that karmic influence and move more into a positive future. And on that topic, there is great potential if you do handle yourself maturely and wisely, perhaps with a dating circumstance or some form of creativity that might feel thwarted or blocked. If you handle these things stoically, detached, maturely, wisely, you may very well find that on the 8th of February, when Venus trines Uranus, you get the blessing for that. You get the reward for that. Suddenly things go well. You know, you had to tell the person that you were dating, I'm sorry, I'm not available on the 7th to go out on a date with you. And maybe they surprise you, Uranus's surprises, the day after by sending flowers to your workplace and saying, let's try again for a date this weekend. You know, some surprising romantic expression or social opportunity comes your way the day after, perhaps as a result of, you know, your maturity and responsibility the day before. Fascinating energy, this karmic north and south node squaring with Venus. My Virgo friends, you are my last sign to explore today. So thank you for sticking with me till lucky last. I hope you're all blessed this week, and I'll be back next week with another Astro Weather Report. I'll catch you all then.